Went through the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's live, right? So, where is the outrage, people? Where are the people? Where is the outrage? It seems as though uh, it seems as though it takes an awful lot to spark an outrage in the American people. Um, I think the outrage is suppressed by fear. That's what I think. I think there's a lot of people that are full of unhappy feelings and feelings of anger, frustration, and I'm thinking this is causing a mental health crisis because of fear, because of the fear the people are unable to deal with their with their problems, with the problems of government and NGOs, invaders, road pirates, parasites, the British. I know it goes a lot deeper than that. But in America, the British, the British court system, no justice for the American people. The American people toxified, poisoned. And how many ways are we being poisoned? And where is the fucking outrage? Oh, be another news cycle. That'll be yesterday's news. Fuck. Come on. All right. So this is how it's been. This is how it has been year after year after year after year after year, decade after decade. Division so motherfucking deep we can't agree on anything. Nope, we can't agree on anything. Three people here. Hello. If you have a comment or a question, put it in the live chat if it'll let you. I think sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So this is the way it's been. From my perspective, from my vantage point, there's a lot there's a lot of really pissed off people, but it's kind of like there's so much fear. Think of the fear as the pot, the pressure cooker, and the outrage is inside. and it's got nowhere to go because the pressure cooker, the fear, the pressure cooker has got everything contained inside. It's building pressure, baby. It's getting hot, but all that stays right inside, buried, controlled by the fear. So what good does it do to get pissed off if you're paralyzed with fear? If you can't take action because you're afraid. I think this is causing some fucking mental issues, mental health issues. Um, and and where's the help? Where's the help? I'm seeing the outrage just about everywhere I look, but I don't see the American people doing much about it. A lot of people trying to figure it out. A lot of people being held down. A lot of people being held down. I think every fucking group that has any kind of potential to do anything is infiltrated. And for whatever reason, these infiltrators don't get rooted out, routed out, rooted out, blown out. Infiltrators who got to go. And men need to be men. Something ain't right. Something really, really ain't right. Um, so hmm, I'm feeling pretty frustrated. I'm feeling very frustrated. And I'm doing my best to be happy. I'm doing my best to be happy. I'm counting my blessings. I'm counting my blessings. Uh, but it would be nice to be amongst the people from time to time. Uh, I've always been a loner. Um, I'm alone in a crowd. Um, in here, right? In between the ears, behind the eyes. I'm alone in a crowd. I always have been. Um, so I've had such a small circle of friends. It's like one or two or three. And then outside of that is people that I know, people that I can be friendly with, people that I would see often, um, for years and engage with them. But that's not a friend. Friend is quite different. So I've always been a loner. So that makes what I'm going through a little. Well, I'm able to do it without losing my mind. In fact, it is. It came close. It came close a few times. Um, I tell you, a little something about me. Um, I have lived with a burning, deep down burning in my soul, in my spirit of uh, rage and anger and um, hatred um, for wrongs, for wrongs, and we all suffer from wrongs. And I always had this call it passion for justice, passion for fairness, passion for love. And it seems like the deck's stacked against us. Generations of mind control, military grade mind control. Um, and So part of my life, I was in the building trades, dabbled in a little land development, built some houses, uh, built a few houses that I lived in, that my family lived in, and then I was a workaholic, um, very driven, and there were times there there were times that the situations are building and building and building, and at home is where I'm looking for peace. uh, but a lot of times they'd have to leave home to find the peace. um, and I can remember my bride. She, oh boy, she knew how to get to me, right? All the women do, or they learn it. And I would get so mad, so upset, so fucking pissed off that it took a lot for me to not do what I wanted to do. And what did I want to do? I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to prove a point. We were living in a house that I built, I framed. I had help, but I built this house from the ground up, and it's a 2,500 square foot house with a walkout basement, a full walkout basement, so 1,200 feet in the basement. And I finished that. It was beautiful. Um, and the attic was all framed, no trusses. 12-12 pitch, so a lot of room. So I put in dormers, I did a half wall, and had a lot of room in the attic. I had a 3.5 car extra deep garage. I again 12-12 roof with a actually a full wall on the other side, and I had room up there. So I had 5,000 square feet finished, and nice. Everything was nice. Everything was really nice, and yet the the pressure would get to me that I had to fight off, literally fight off, taking a chainsaw and cutting the first floor wall. I was ready to pick up that chainsaw and fire it up and rip the whole fucking side, one side of the house. Sounds crazy. Yeah, and that's because I was about motherfucking crazy with the bullshit. The bullshit. And this is that's me. I from a very very young age. Um, I I was programmed with fighting, with war, in in the early '60s. Very few people had television. We had three channels, and it was a lot of gunplay. A lot of gunplay. World War One, World War Two, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, um, gangs, mobsters. So this is what I was programmed with. And growing up in the Detroit suburbs, um, had his challenges. Being a skinny runt presented its challenges. And so to survive, uh, I would run. I would run. And that was the smartest thing I could do. Because if I didn't, uh, maybe the next day I wouldn't be able to walk too good, or maybe that day I wouldn't be able to walk too good. Well, I ran, and I got to be fast, but that didn't stop the fucking bullshit, did it? No, that didn't stop the fucking bullshit. So, like I said, I was skinny. I wasn't tall. 5'10" and a half was my peak. So that's tall enough. It's not short, but it ain't tall. Um, and And one day I didn't run. No, one day I said, I'm not running. Not from this guy. And that fight probably ended in a draw. No real winner. Um, and then we patched it up and we were buddies. And this is what the male, the man, the male species, we do that. I don't know why, but men will bond through strife, struggle, and altercation. Uh, so, anyways, I learned how to survive in a fight. I've survived in knife fights. I've survived in gunfights. Um, I didn't have to. I didn't have to survive, but it did. As I'm here, I can talk about it. And so I've had this burning in me from as far back as I can remember. And it could have cost me my life many times. But some things are worth fighting for. Some things are worth fighting for. And I think the health of the American people, the health of the people of the world, is worth fighting for. And I know, I don't think, I don't believe, I fucking know that we can end tooth decay and gum disease. And if you end tooth decay and gum disease, you're going to end a long fucking list of other disease and chronic disease. My poor oral health caused me to suffer with over 40 chronic conditions that are now gone or so mitigated and fading, on their way out. For over 40 fucking chronic conditions. From what? Poor oral health. I know for a fact we can end tooth decay and gum disease with cannabis formulations. As I've said, there are other ways to do it. You can stop eating carbohydrates. Just take carbohydrates out of your diet. That'll probably do it because it's carbohydrates, saliva, and bad bacteria. Now, another thing you could do is you could get rid of the bad bacteria. So there's two options. Now, one is to cut out carbohydrates. That's asking people to make a major change in their life. Um, I think we should be more concerned about getting the carbohydrates clean, right? Getting them clean so they're not all toxified. Let my cigarette go out. They used to put saltpeter in the cigarettes. They used to put saltpeter in the cigarettes. So at any rate, well, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go at this point. I've been essentially I have used up all the options. I have been around the world. Uh, I've been around the world with my research proposal. I've been around the world with the evidence. I've been to the researchers, to the scientists, to the doctors, to the dentists, to the NGOs like the ADA, the politicians, the fucking bar agents back in the day when I was dumb as a box of rocks. And I find fear everywhere, everywhere. This is so fucking frightening uh, to the people. They they'll stay on their knees. It doesn't matter. And so over the course of years, I've tried to get the people to get together on a lot of things. So we were showing the total dissolved solids in the water. You get uh, an electrolyzer and a total uh, and a detector for solids. I can't remember the correct the full pronunciation of that thing, but we were showing the people that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the people. Uh, they're not going to get an analyzer. They're not going to check their water. They're not going to get together. They're not going to go to the city planners, the city council, the mayor, the governor. They're not. They're just going to keep drinking that fucking shit. And then of course you got all these other motherfuckers out there telling you about all the microplastics in your plastic bottles, right? So no, people can't get together for that. They can't get together for clean, healthy water. No. Thomas D. Murphy, he's dead now. And Tim Dever with the PBI, now over 3 years in, I think, federal prison. Um, Murphy figured out how to uh, um, clean the water at the point of discharge to where it's potable, healthy water. And the system was apparently real simple to deal with, and yet Tom could not get past the oppression and the suppression, and he fought and fought and fought, and he's dead, and we're all still drinking fucking shit. We're drinking shit, and where's the outrage? There is none. There is none. I try to get people together to travel. I contracted Sovereign. I was an hour and a half at the post office. An hour and a half at the post office. Oh my God. What a day. That video was reduced to 32 minutes by YouTube. No strike, no slap on the wrist, no notification. Simply an hour and a half down to 32 minutes to play it on YouTube for about 2 days. And then it's reduced to 2 minutes and a couple of seconds. Why? Because I had contracted Sovereign. And my registered mail today has been erased from the system. So now the United States Postal Service is falsely advertising the label as created and not yet in the system. Created, available, not yet in the system. That's false advertising. And why are they false advertising? Because they fucking erased my fucking record, contracting Sovereign. They fucking erased my fucking YouTube video. The postal employees called the Calcasieu County Sheriff's that day. 3 of them showed up. At least one of them with an assault weapon. And at that time, I had been in that time frame. I had been talking about assassinating the straw man. I was assassinating the straw man, and I was showing how I was doing it. And I was promoting a YouTube video by the channel Cop Block, Cop COP Block, BLOCK, Cop Block. The title of the video: When Should You Shoot a Cop? Very well done video. So I was promoting this, and so I think they thought they were going to get me. I think they thought they were going to get me one way or another. But they failed again. They failed again. And I'm here to tell the story. So I was asked to teach how to contract as Sovereign by the crew. The crew at the time with the People's Bureau of Investigation and the Tom Murphy and his environmental court. And oh, baby. Ooh, wait, a lot. Oh my goodness, so much happened. And that's been talked about, that's been documented, but what shut it down? Fear. Fear. Everything gets shut down by fear. Well, that's a blanket statement. Uh, so many things are shut down by fear. So many things that are good for the people are shut down by fear. And I, so I'm seeing, I'm seeing, I'm seeing outrage. I'm seeing outrage. I'm seeing people pissed off because there's no justice. Now we've been seeing that for a long time. We've been seeing that for a long time. But it's at a new, it's at a new level. And I think the Nick Shirley kind of uh, porting. I think we're going to see more of that, where a video goes viral and lots of outraged eyes are watching the video inside their pressure cooker. Now, pressure cookers have been known to crack, and the way a pressure cooker would get used is there's somebody in control. They got the control of the heat, and they got control of the lock on that lid. And I think I'm seeing the operators of the fear mechanism turning up the heat. I see it turning up the heat, and maybe a couple of little cracks and some steam starting to come out. Maybe the cracks were engineered. Maybe the top was loosened a little bit. That's probably more like it. That's probably more like it. The controllers, they're turning up the heat, they're loosening up the top a little bit, and we've got some Nick Shirley kind of stuff oozing out, getting traction. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views. So, uh, uh, I wish there was some comments here, something to kind of get my juices going. It's kind of therapy for me because I got no one to talk to, no one to talk with. I got you folks to talk to, uh, but I don't know who to talk with. I it's it's crazy. It is crazy. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a special day, if it's a holiday. It's just there's a constant hum of silence in my life. And so uh, there's the good and there's the bad with that. Uh, the good is for me from the standpoint that I can have a very peaceful day, provided that my mind will let me, because there's virtually not much of anything other than the weather uh, and uh, body aches that are affecting me. The deep state is at bay. The deep state has been held at bay for a significant amount of time. I haven't been generating paperwork and sending out notices and yada yada yada. I I'm not in an intensive learning mode, trying to figure out lawful and legal and now time, now space, quantum, jurisdiction. Um, for years, that was a high priority, an intense deep dive into that whole pile of jurisdictional fuckery. So 4 people here. Well, you're hanging with me. Looks like, um, or maybe 3 people left and 4 people came in. Who knows? Um, I do this because it needs to be done. I got nothing for sale. I got nothing for sale. Um, I can't give anything away. I wear rags and I sleep on rags. I got to do laundry. I don't have many shirts, and um, they've been sitting in the laundry basket, and I haven't felt motivated to do the laundry, and I needed a new another shirt to wear. So I've been wearing this one now for about 2 weeks, um, and this is a medium. This is a medium, and a medium strangles me in the armpits and kind of chokes me around the neck. And even the large t-shirts, I want a V-neck. So at any rate, I cut the arms off of this shirt and I cut a cut a little bit of the front out here, and um, so I not like I'm out there socializing. That's another bit of peace I got. Some people think, "Oh, you wear a shirt for 2 fucking weeks. Oh God." Well, maybe you don't know. Back in the day, it was very common a man would put on his long johns and he got a trap door on the back. That was about the most exposure that happened uh, for the winter. Uh, bathing, bathing not real convenient. The guys would wear that they called it a union suit. They'd wear that union suit through the fall, through the winter, and into the spring. And yeah, those were different times back then. So I'd like to get a few shirts. Um, I can even afford them. I can afford them. My problem is I'm basically I'm not stranded here. I'm safe here. I'm the safest here, and things that are here are the safest when I'm here. So um, getting out, getting out is a rarity. Um, I get out about once a month for a couple hours to take care of business, get a month's worth of groceries and whatever other supplies that I might need. Um, and there isn't a spot that I know of here in town to go pick up some teas. I know there's teas available, but maybe it's not, something. I want something kind of plain. So, uh, at any rate, that's my life. I live in isolation. I wear rags. I sleep on rags. I live in poverty. I've become a minimalist. A minimalist. Um, I roll my own cigarettes. I smoke for pennies. For pennies. Thank goodness. I've been rolling my own cigarettes for, good God, 30 years or more. 30 years or more, I've been rolling my own cigarettes. One day I might do the math on that, but um, still four people here. Bless you. So I guess I'll talk about the narrative, this Venezuela thing. It sounds like, it looks like the Trump, the Trump, which is translation to the Trump military. Trump, translate military. The Trump military. And why do I say the Trump? I say the Trump because there's a high probability that he's no different than the Biden. The Biden. Joe Biden was not president. The image of Biden was president. So, Venezuela, the military, you might say the United States government, or to be more accurate, the rogue actors acting as United States government officials, um, claims that they're going to run Venezuela without military occupation. Without military occupation, how the fuck does that work? It does is that adding up? Is that adding up for you? I think most everything that you hear, that you see, you got to say, mm, could be, could be, possibly, maybe, and then take the wait and see attitude. Uh, so the outrage is building, building, building. What the fear is trying to contain uh, really takes a lot of force. It takes a lot of force, and the power inside this pressure cooker is building, 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 building. So um, take a simple thing like Budweiser, and was it Bud Light? Was it Bud Light? They tried to transgender. Um, there's guys that will never drink a Bud Light again. Um, what about all this transgender shit in the schools? Cat box pronouns, cat boxes. Um, you got a whole nother group of people there. They're outraged. They're outraged. But the fear is keeping them silent. Um, there's so much. There's so much. If anybody has a couple more they want to put in the chat here to help me out, I that would be fine. Um, sports, the the bullshit in sports with the all the rigging, all the manipulation for controlling the gambling. A lot of people getting pissed off about that. All these things, and there's a long list of them. Um, it's kind of like they get lost in the next day's news cycle. They never go away. They never go away. They're kind of simmering and stewing. So, what I'm seeing with the narrative seeding is exposure, 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 and no justice. No justice, no justice, no justice, no justice. Um, we have been hearing, and I've been talking about the global military operation to take down the deep state. We've been hearing about it. I've been talking about it. Last year, I posted well over 1,000 videos of sky events here. The military communicating with me with sky comms here over since October last year, May, early October is one of the last videos that I captured and put out, and and since then it has been primarily audible, audible only, and it has really died off. But the boys were loud and proud. They were loud and proud, and two of the comms, I'm clueless. The timestamps. Oh no, actually, one of the two. The one didn't make sense to me until I actually had time to think about it. It was 7:57, and well, and it was a little bit later. Oh yeah, it's 19. It's 19. Dumber than a box of rocks. That's power number. Um, they hit with a strong 11. That's chaos, discord, war. And the other one, I don't know, and I don't even remember what time it was, but it was the sound of military air. It wasn't the sound of commercial jets. It was the sound of military air, and that was yesterday. So chaos, discord, and war. That's what the and victory and victory. No, 17 is victory. 17 is Q. 17 is victory. 19 is power. 19 is power number. Like COVID-19. And why did they call it COVID-19? I think 19 because it's power number. So it's also interesting that Rusty put out a video here recently, um, where he explained he put paperwork into the Pentagon ordering all the military, all U.S. military, to come home and shut up every base that's not on the homeland, shut down every installation, and bring everything back. And what you can't bring back, destroy. Um, and then what do we have with this thing in Venezuela? You got the Trump saying how the U.S. is going to uh, rule Venezuela until judicial a judicial I got to paraphrase. Um, a judicial reckoning, a judicial reckoning. So cut the head off the snake over there in Venezuela, and apparently the Venezuelan people are happy. The Venezuelan people here in America are happy. Um, but are you Americans happy? No, you're not. You want justice. And Cash Patel and Pam Bondi don't seem to be delivering, do they? The Trump does not seem to be delivering, does he? Does it? Um, so what seems and what is doesn't have to be the same thing. I rolled another cigarette. I rolled up three. I generally roll a cigarette when I want to smoke it. That's part that's part of smoking for me. Um, when I go into town, I'll typically roll up three. Sometimes I get a chance to smoke them, or one or part of one, anyways. Um, and so I rolled three for this talk. Hell, I've only been talking. Well, have I been talking? I've been talking that long. I got to put my eye aids on. I think that says an hour and 2 minutes. Huh? Feels like I only reached over and started this talk. So, all right, that's good. That's good for me. Um, so, what is going to happen, and how is it going to happen? I don't know. You got the Supreme Court um, telling the Trump, so the rogue Supreme Court that has no jurisdiction, no standing, and no authority, telling the rogue military, the Trump, the face of the rogue military operation. You got the rogue, no standing, no jurisdiction, no authority, Supreme Court of the former United States corporation telling the rogue president of that fictitious corporation enslaving the American people that he can't have the National Guard deployed until after regular forces have failed. I mean, come on, people. So what do you think's going to happen now in this military operation? What do you think is going to happen now? Well, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I can tell you, I do not. I don't want to. I will speculate on a few things. I will speculate on a few things. I'm willing to speculate more manufactured outrage um, in the Nick Shirley fashion. In other words, a nobody from nowhere And I don't know, maybe he's not a nobody from nowhere. I think I'm not sure. But as I think about this, I'm thinking the guys, the Q-tards over there at News Treason and Rambo and Friends were discussing. I think they were discussing their time at Mar-a-Lago. And I remember them talking about a Citizen Journalist Award, and I'm thinking it was Nick Shirley who got it. And then later, after that, Nick Shirley's got this video about the Somali daycare fraud, um, and it's getting millions and millions of views and on its own, and then others are picking it up. Fox News is talking about it, so um, that and that has caused. I'm hearing that has caused many other average Joes to put on their big boy pants and get out there and start doing the same kind of thing. So I think we're going to see more and more and more of this. The the pressure cooker may explode, or may come very close. So the I think it's the Trump. I think it's the Trump. I don't think it's a Q drop. I think it's the Trump. I'm almost positive. The Trump says, I got to paraphrase. It will be easier to do what needs to be done because everyone will agree with us. So if um, if the Trump in his first term would have deployed military assets onto the American soil, there probably have been a lot of pushback, a lot of outrage, and that would have been in place of disclosure. That would have been in place of pressure building inside the pressure cooker, the outrage, the anger, the call for justice. And so it's been very frustrating that it has taken so long. But if you start to comprehend the generational psychological manipulation on the population, um, and the depth of the control system, the vast network of the control system, it's really hard to even comprehend how you would go about dismantling that. So I'm confident that if it wasn't being dismantled, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. Um, I would have ceased to exist a long time ago. And even still, I consider myself very fortunate to be here. And so I think we're gonna see more and more reason for outrage, more and more reason to be upset, to be unsatisfied, and a push for justice like nobody alive today has ever seen. And so I am very much really looking forward to that turning point when we see regular forces occupying the streets of the homeland. That's when a serious cleanup should happen. That's when somewhere in somewhere there's got to be a trigger. There's got to be a trigger that the majority of the American people are clamoring for justice, and they know there is no justice coming from the rogue, fictitious Department of Justice, which is British controlled, British operated, and British run for the American people, for their slavement, for their torture. So, got a comment here. Nice. It's Thrillbilly. Hey, Thrillbilly. Thrillbilly's always got a lot to say. Oh, and Richard Droland. Congress did not declare war on Venezuela. Therefore, Trump has committed armed capital felony kidnapping, which carries the death penalty around the world. Okay. Uh, Thrillbilly says, well, top of the morning to you, Hoss. Top of the morning. Well, top of the day. Morning. I'm not mourning. I'm not mourning. Um, Thrillbilly goes on to say a few more things. Thrillbilly says, and I'll read this because I don't have that much, and we don't get the live chat replay. So the people can who listen to this later can get a little insight, little sight. Thrillbilly says, well, they are moving closer to Zionist one world order. This is for damn sure. Well, that's where that, well, that's if you you two apparently don't see the global military operation and you're black pilled. Thrillbilly says, but we are also moving closer to rising as a collective, reclaiming more and more self governance of we the people. There you go. Thrillbilly says the outrage is right here. I anticipate by April 15th, 50% of the taxpayers are going to be in full rebellion. Oh, that's okay. Thank you. That's a good one. And Thrillbilly says, come on, folks, let's like and share this live. We can get much more viewers watching. Um, love you, Thrillbilly. Um, taxes. Oh, baby. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Now, the narrative feeding, the narrative seeding on this has been going on. You got DeSantis talking about it. I've been talking about it for months. Um, I think you got an actor in Ohio running on the platform of abolishing land tax. So the math the math is pretty simple. When you add up all the fraud, oh, the fraud is big numbers, big numbers, um, billions and trillions. But there are reports. There are reports that the sovereign wealth fund. I'm going to say sovereign wealth fund for lack of better. Um, uh, you see, Executive Order 13818 deals with corruption and serious human rights abuse. So, corruption, that's easy. Serious human rights abuse, to me, that's very easy because any human right abuse is serious. I don't care where it is on the scale. If it's on the fucking scale, it's serious. There is no human right abuse that is not serious. So, serious human rights abuse means human rights abuse, and corruption means corruption. And asset seizure, their land, their gold, their silver, their businesses. Oh, baby. So, there are reports out there that the number they describe it as more zeros than God. I don't want to really be misspeaking, but Bosi, uh, retired Lieutenant Ricardo Bosi out of Australia, has said at least once, if not two or three times, I think it's closer to two that I've heard, that that number has like 40 or 50 zeros. 40 or 50 zeros. A million has 6 zeros. A billion has 9 zeros. A trillion has 12 zeros. So I don't think that uh, currency is the problem. I we've been living in scarcity and fear and scarcity, and delusion, delusion. Yeah, trust the science, but let's use real science, right? But they don't. They fuck with the science. They lie to us about everything. So then we have free energy. So many different technologies for free energy. And then when I say free energy, it's free energy after the initial the product is paid for, because the products produce over unity. They produce over unity. And there's so much that is available, proven, perfected, and so Can you imagine living without having to pay an electric bill, without having to pay for fuel for your transportation, without having to pay a gas bill for your furnace? Um, Abundance, um, fruit, more fruit, more trees, more fruit trees growing than producing more fruit than we can consume, and everything else the same way. And energy costs are essentially gone. So the grocery store isn't charging you for refrigeration and for heating, right? You got to be warm enough when it's 20 below zero in Fargo uh, to go in the grocery store, but the food in the frozen section needs to be frozen. The meat needs to be in the cooler. So if you got your heat and you got your cooling going on, and we're paying for it now, but when we have over unity, essentially free energy, you don't pay for that no more. The transportation cost to get the goods there, the manufacturing cost to produce and get the goods there, all goes down, 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 down because you got over unity. Now, what does that do? Man, oh man, that's like wealth. Um, that's wealth. So then what's going to happen with the return of what was stolen generationally? Um, oh baby, uh, if you give if that was to simply be divvied up to the people, um, we'd have a real problem. Um, we'd have a real problem. So that is not. I don't see that happening. But I see, I can vision the sovereign wealth fund creating really good things for the people. Um, and my mind can't go there. I mean, as to what those things might be. What if it's galactic travel? I'm. What if it's galactic travel? Um, and I have a strong leaning. I'm almost convinced. I am almost convinced. I have such a strong leaning that that is where we are going, because of the narrative seeding that really, I think, started with my generation. I'm tail end of the boomers. I was born in '58. Um, Gen X, I think, started in '65. So the the Gen Xers fall into this as well. So this is when I remember a show on television called Time Tunnel. Um, you can't find much on that show. You can get some short clips. You get some people talking about it, but as far as um, any of the TV shows. Uh, I think it ran for 2 years, and it was essentially about like wormhole. So this, that, and then Lost in Space, uh, the Jetsons. Um, this to me, it was narrative seeding into the psyche of the people, and it has grown to the kind of stuff that you're all mostly familiar. Most of you are familiar with these days, like Star Wars and uh, ET. I don't know, how do you get ET back home and all this kind of stuff, right? So there's all this narrative seeding. Well, why? Well, apparently, wormhole, um, teletransportation, fusion, cold fusion, uh, dates back to the 60s and before in scientific papers. So, um, this looks like, this looks to me like the operation is not new. Maybe it started before 1958. Maybe it started before 1958. Uh, I who knows? But when you analyze it, when you look at the history and you listen to the porting, what's being put in front of you, the information you're hearing today that you didn't hear last year, the information you're hearing today that you didn't hear 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's flooding. It's flooding, and then you've got a military grade psychological operation happening for multiple reasons. I mean, one is to keep the enemy off balance. Um, um, and yet, and so there's a ton of misinformation, disinformation, twisted information, and so false realities, um, red flags, so much interference in truth and light, um, that it's not easy to put these pieces together. And when you start talking about woo, when you start talking about woo, uh, like woo being space aliens, um, what people call alien technology. Um, Ashton Forbes and I think Sal um, say it's physics. It's physics. It's the same. Physics is going to be the same for us as it is for uh, quote unquote aliens. So is that alien technology or is that physics technology? Um, and are we alone? Could we be alone? Um, Not according to the narrative feeding. So Russell talks about the galactic postal, and I don't know if it's Union or what, but he talks about galactic postal. Um, Ashton Forbes is doing an incredible job of bringing the science forward and the quote unquote receipts that MH370 was teleported right out of the sky with a neutronic fusion and a wormhole. Um, Listening to a Juanito talk here recently. It was an Australian that was hosting Juan. It wasn't Bosie. It was a guy I hadn't heard before. And he asked Juan if America was going to get rid of Admiralty maritime law. And Juan's answer surprised me and triggered me. Triggered me. I felt a sense of, um, so Juan, is America going to get rid of Admiralty law? And Juan says something to the effect of, we need it. And I don't know if he said especially or what, but he said we need it for space travel. But we can't let it override the Constitution. All right. So in a now time, now space, quantum world, there is no fucking Constitution. Uh, it's fiction, it's babble, and truth and fact cannot meet. But the American people and the people of the world know of and talk about and praise and highly regard the quote unquote Constitution. So, Admiralty Maritime should be about shipping. And that's where it went wrong when the system decided to incorporate the placenta and then manipulate and say that that's you and give you that all caps name. So you can be registered so that you can be harvested. That's where the system was all wrong. Um, so Admiralty maritime law, think about a captain of a ship. Think about a captain of a ship. Who's the law on that ship? Who is the law? That's the captain. Captain can decide if it's mutiny, if it's treason, if it's murder, if it's robbery, if it's rape, if it's neglect, if it's cowardice. That's Admiralty maritime situation, and the captain, that's his world. He's in control. He has the responsibility. He has the duty. And so as much as I was triggered by Juan's response that no, 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 we're not going to get rid of it. We need that. Well, uh, that could be another trigger to the people who listen to Juan say that, that maybe you're not forward thinking enough to comprehend that probably do need something like that. But the fact of the matter is that in a quantum reality, now time, now space, uh, the Admiralty maritime system that we all know and hate is void. It's void. Um, so replacing shipping law, Admiralty Maritime, shipping uh, um, legalities. I can see the need for it, um, and it goes beyond that because these galactic crafts are going to have departure and arrival. And so, how do you deal with departure and arrival? Well, I'll go out on a limb here and say the galactic world that we are not in a part of yet already has its rules. Already has its community rules. Already has its community guidelines, and probably very well thought out. All right. Richard says, I anticipate, okay. Yeah, that's right. Anticipates full rebellion, tax rebellion. Really says, come on, folks, let's like and share this live. Oh, we can get much more viewers watching. Richard says, Casey, the car guy from YouTube's running for governor in Ohio. I don't know Casey, the car guy. Richard says, law equates to land, air, and water. So if we're on the land and soil, then land part of the law applies, not maritime admiralty water law. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have I've talked about this recently, and I'll talk about it again. I think law, the word law, is deep state Babylonian fuckery. I think I'm looking down because I'm rolling another cigarette. Um, um, and it was at one time an acronym for Court of Land, Air, and Water, Court of Law. And so, Court of Land, Air, and Water uh, was deep state fucked with because the spelling, right? The spelling to cast a spell upon us, and the words land, air, and water became an acronym, and then we got into this legal lawful, and then we got the bar, the American Bar Association. Their primary objective was setting of the academic standards for Americans. So I, a couple years ago, came to the conclusion that there is no court of law for the American people, and that our forefathers told us what to do. They told us what to do, and we we don't do it. We don't do it. I took a big step, and I got 40 acres here, and I gave a land location for a court of law to the American people. And so I've talked about that quite a bit. Fast forward here a couple years. This year, no, last year, 2025. Um, in addition to giving the American people a land location for a court of law and actually operating the court, I also uh, came to the conclusion that the American military has been MIA since at least 1871. The American military is MIA and captured by the rogue United States corporate military um, treasonous fucks. So I decided that I've been working on this helicopter landing zone, um, and at one point last year, I decided that the American military need a post. That the American military does not have a sovereign post. They're rogue. Um, the United States military is rogue, and we want them to come home. We want them to be Americans, not corporate slave trading parasitic fucks. So I painted it on the top of my truck in my very best quantum grammar. And so I wish I could remember the entire thing I got written on there. But it's post one, but it's colon tilde, no, colon space post tilde one. And I hope I got that part of it right. But then it says Michigan military court, land, air, water, and cyberspace. Land, air, water doesn't cut it anymore. What about cyberspace? So we had a thaw. We had a thaw. We had rain. I got the roof of the truck cleared off, and was able to light that up in the nighttime sky and let it shine in the daytime sky. My roof cleared off, and we got another warm up coming. We got a couple days. We're going to be in the mid 30s. and we're going to see mid 40s and rain. So my roof will be clear again. The roof of the truck will be clear again, and I light up on cue every night. I light up on cue every night. Um, so hmm. So I feel good. I do. I feel good. I think I think that we are moving into that golden age with with abundance and galactic brotherhood. Abundance and galactic brotherhood. Wow. So watch the outrage build. Um, right now, the National Guard's being removed from wherever it was. Um, wherever it was, it's all being removed. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You think? You think special forces are going to come? Do you think that we're going to finally hear of the Venezuelan connection to the vote rigging for 71 nations plus the United States? So we got Juan talking about how we're not going to get rid of Admiralty Maritime because of space travel. You got Russell been talking about the Galactic Postal. You got scientific papers going back into the '60s talking about this shit. Um, I'm thinking the change is happening without the void. Without the void, that means minimal casualties. You can say, "Wow, we had a lot from the jab," and it sounds like there's going to be a lot more. Um, we've had lots of business failures. We've had a lot of people suffering from so much. It's been a tremendous loss, but compare that compare that to the pictures we see of the old world with these massive cities with no population. Now that's what they wanted. That's what those Georgia Guidestones were about. That's what they wanted. Our cities are pretty full the world over. We're surviving, and it sure looks like there's an operation and a military operation, a global, a world. That's I think world is a word I want to try and use. 'Cause that's the word that Chief uses, Postmaster General of our world, not of our globe, not of our planet, not a flat Earth, but our world. So I think that's a good one. I think I'll try and roll with that whenever possible. So, Thrillbilly and Richard, really appreciate you getting into the comments. Um, Thrillbilly, I love the way you throw support out there, and I I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. No more comments to spark me. And I think I've said all I'm going to say for now, except that I love you. I'm going to keep fighting for you. And one of these days, maybe we'll actually meet and have a good time together doing something. All right, everybody. Until next time, be be mad as hell.